Alright guys, well it's 9:30, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully a couple more people will jump on. If not, we are recording it. I know it's early in the morning, but for us in the NOLA market, we chose this time specifically for you guys so that you can go ahead and listen to this before you open up, or you can have it on while you're setting up the spa. Today we're going to go over product sales. This is one of our main categories, right? We look at 3 different categories when we're looking at our sales and at our performance. And that's going to be obviously our net, EFT. So that's going to be our draft. That's obviously our most important. Our retail sales, and then our memcash. And so retail sales we feel like it's a little overlooked sometimes, and it's very, very important. So that's why we decided to go ahead and do this webinar today on our products, because we focus so much on selling memberships. And yes, that's the lifeline of our business, is selling our memberships, and that's great. But we want to make sure that we're also selling products too, for many different reasons that we're going to go over today. So just to go ahead and get started, we're going to just define retail and maybe give you guys a couple little insights that you may not know about retail sales in the spa. So we want you guys to know the facts. And what our franchisees probably know, and maybe some of our spa directors or spa consultants might not know, is the different profit margins of each of our products. And so we wanted to go into a little detail of that to help you guys understand exactly how much the franchisee is profiting from this retail, or not profiting if we're not selling retail correctly. So retail, like I just said, is going to be one of the 3 revenues that we're looking at when we're looking at our spa sales and the performance of our spa. So we're always going to want our draft, right, to be 50% of what's coming in. 50% of our in the bank should be coming from our net. These are our memberships, our reoccurring EFT drafts every single month, people that we're collecting from every single month on the 1st. And then our memcash and retail are going to make up that other 50%. And that doesn't mean that they're any less important than our memberships. But obviously, if we don't have members coming in, we don't have customers, we're not selling any paid in fulls, then we're not having anyone to sell retail to, right? So they work all together very, very importantly. And this is just a little note, guys. Like, if this is not the way that your in the bank looks, if you're not collecting 50% of your in the bank coming from your draft, or 25 coming from retail, that's okay. Obviously, this is our goal, right? This is what some of our top spas are doing, and so that's why we're looking at this. This is some statistics that we've shown that have been successful and that work for our spas. So this is definitely a goal. If we're hitting 30% memcash and only 20% retail, that's okay. That just tells us that we need to focus a little bit more on retail. So we're just going to move on straight from there. So why is retail sales important? It's revenue for our spa, right? Anytime that we're selling products, that's money coming into our franchisee. That's more money that they're collecting, more that they're able to pay you guys and payroll. So that's a win for you, right? Your members are seeing results. If you're not discussing these products and how you can pair your products with services on the tour, then you're missing out on a huge sale right there. Whenever you have a new guest coming in, you're showing them around the spa, you're showing them all your services, and you're telling them, this is going to help blur fine lines and wrinkles. This is going to help, maintain your weight. It's going to be a perfect complement to your workout regime. You don't want to be made a liar. So it's very important that you are being very upfront in the very beginning on that first tour, and not only talking about the services, but telling them how not only these services going to give you results, but paired with these products, you're going to see accelerated results. That way, when it comes to the end of the tour, you're not bombarding them with all these retail sales. Having your members using the products with their services and getting maximum results, that's going to be your number 1 retention tool. If they're not seeing the results that you talked about on that tour, or that you got them excited about and got them to sign up on, then whenever they're looking at their bank at the end of the month and they're low on cash, guess what? You're going to be that first thing that they're going to cut out of of their bank, right? You're disposable now because, you know, you signed up, this was important to you, you thought this was going to help you with your weight management goals or your anti-aging regime, and you haven't seen those results. So why are we still paying every month if it's not helping? So make sure that we're doing those ongoing consultings. Drawings, enter to win, keeps engagement and relationships, right? If we're having drawings in our spa, if we're having product bundles and giveaways at our map parties, then that's going to keep our members excited. This is continued sales, right? So we have our members coming in on a daily basis. Just because we sold them on a membership and we sold them that first day, that doesn't mean that we can never sell them again. You know, whenever we're looking at our goals and we're looking at our retail goal, our reoccurring members are going to be the first people we're going to hit up, right? And retail referral sales. What you guys may not understand is once you get your members hooked on one of our products, we all know how great our products are, right? Once we get them hooked on one good product, they're telling their friends about it. Or their friends are asking about it, right? Because they're seeing results at home and their friends are like, oh my gosh, what have you been doing? Did you whiten your teeth? Girl, your skin has really cleared up. You know, and guess what? They're talking about your products. So I know you guys probably have people coming in just asking about products, right? Like, oh my gosh, my boyfriend told me about this PB Clean, you know, that he was at the gym the other day and y'all were over there doing a promotion, y'all gave him this energy drink and he's hooked, you know, he asked me to come get him some. You know, those are why retail is so important, because now that person just came in to buy our boyfriend some clean energy. Well, guess what? We're going to turn that into a red appointment, right? We're going to give them a tour around. We're going to sit them down, give them a PSP, and hopefully get a member out of them. So that's why this is so important. And we need to make sure that we are giving product sales the attention that it deserves. What we don't want to see is you guys looking at your retail goals and not trying to reach them in a smart way. So we want to just give you guys an example. So your retail goal for today is $145. So how are we going to hit that? How are we going to hit $145? We're not going to sell a bunch of products at a huge discount, right? I'm not going to sell 50 products with 75% off just to hit that $145 mark. Sure, you hit that $145 mark, but what does that really mean? What did you really do? You know, how much revenue did you really take in for the spa? Just kind of like I was saying, this is a false result. You know, at the end of the day, if you're selling all these products and you're selling all these things just to see that number, just to see the number on Spa Central, just to up your ranking, then what you're really doing is, instead of bringing revenue into the spa, you're actually costing your franchisee. And that's not what we want to see, right? We don't want to see you guys hitting your goals and seeing these high numbers and getting all excited and have that conversation with your franchisee like, I need a raise, you know, I've been doing great, I've been hitting my goals month after month. Well, guess what? Your franchisee isn't going to have money to give you guys that raise if they're not seeing that money come in. So you're set to receive your compensation based off of the sales in the spa. So whether it's, you know, once your retail sales get so much, you get a percentage off of it, or, you know, once you hit your 10% increase for the month, you get your bonus. We want to make sure that we're not just doing anything and everything that we can to hit these goals. We want to make sure that we are looking at this in a very smart way. And I'm going to show you just a little bit of what I'm talking about. This is going to be your profit margins list, right? This is a whole list of all of our products, what it costs the franchisee, what we recommend you guys selling to your members, and what the profit margin is. And this is just going to be a little cheat sheet for you guys, because sure, we want to hit those retail goals, right? You know, that's all we talk about with you guys is how far are you to your goal, you know, what are you going to do to hit that goal? And this is just another cheat sheet for you guys to use to make sure that y'all are hitting those goals in the right way. You know, for our new members, we always do a 20% off their first product sale, and that's great. 20% is just fine. We can take 20% off. What we don't want to see you guys doing is selling everything at a discount just to hit your goals. Because at the end of the day, like we said, that's going to come out of your franchisee's pocket. You know, we're not bringing any revenue in. We're taking money out, because not only, and I think I'll break this down a little bit more. Just because we sold, you know, 5 PB Renews, that doesn't mean that franchisee collected all that money, right? what that means is there are a lot of costs that go into retail sales that maybe you guys don't understand. And that's why we wanted to talk about this a little bit, especially our spa directors on the call. This is going to be very important for you guys to understand, right? You need to understand what it's actually costing our franchisee for you to, one, be in the spa and to make these sales. So not only is the franchisee coming out of pocket to buy these products, right? They don't just show up on the doorstep and come in a nice pretty box for us to put on the shelves, right? Our franchisee bought them. She bought them, she ordered them, now that's why they're in. Anytime that you ring up a product, there is a 2 to 3% credit card merchant fee that is charged to your franchisee for every single transaction. And I know that looks kind of weird, 2 to 4, but it's kind of dependent on the credit card used, whether it's Visa, it's Discover, it's American Express, whatever it may be. So that's scary, right? Every single time that you're charging a card, your franchisee is being charged a merchant fee. Now, subtract your commission that you're going to receive off of that product, right? That's a whip 'em for you. Of course, I want to sell these products because I'm getting commission off of it, right? Not only am I helping my retention for my members, right? They're pairing their products with their services. They're love it. They're seeing the results that they want to see, but I'm getting commission off of this. That's why I'm selling it, right? Well, if we're not collecting the correct amount for these products, then our franchisee doesn't have enough money to pay you commission. Now, at the end of the month, when we look at that in the bank number, right, we're adding up our draft, our memcash, and our retail sales for our in the bank number. I know you guys look at that. You see it on the dashboard every single day. What's in the bank? Is it higher than last month? Is it higher than this month last year? Well, guess what? Your franchisee is paying a royalty fee on that number. So if we've now discounted all of these products just to see this high number in our retail sales, they're not only having to come out of pocket to buy that product, they're paying these merchant fees, they're paying employees commission off of it, but then they're paying royalties on that as well. So if we're putting these huge discounts on it already, then our franchisee is never seeing that money. So whenever it does come time for you to want that raise or ask for more money or wonder why we can't buy more robes or get a new service in the spa, that's why, right? Because that's a false number and they're not really collecting that money at the end of the day. And that's scary, right? We don't want something that's supposed to be a revenue category, right, that we're collecting money on, end up being a cost to us. That's the last thing that we want to see. So now that we kind of understand what our retail category is and just a little bit of the insights on it and making sure that, we're being smart whenever we have our retail sales and that we're hitting those goals in a very, very smart way, let's talk about some of the different people that we're going to be selling retail to. So we kind of broke it down into 4 different retail consumers, right? There's going to be 4 different kinds of people that you're going to want to sell to. And it's very important to know the difference between the 4 because you're going to approach these people in a slightly different way. So, and we have in here the order of how easy the sale is. I wouldn't say necessarily any of these are going to be easy, right? But this might just help in the order that you might feel more comfortable in starting this with. So your new member. You had a guest come in, you just signed them up, they're all excited, they just got their... Let me try to hide this for a second. Sorry, guys. Oh. So our new member, right? So we just signed them up. They're so excited. We told them about all the products and all the services, and they're excited to start on the road to seeing their results. So this is going to be probably your easiest sale, right? Because they're excited. They just came in for the first time and they're on that high of excitement. The next one's going to be the new customer. And just in case you guys, for some reason, you're newer, you don't understand, you think everyone's a member, your member is going to be someone that's on an EFT membership, someone that's on our Easy Pay program who put a card on file. They're an EFT member. We are collecting recurring dues from them every single month. Your customer is going to be your paid in full, your session holder, right? 1 month, 2 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, or maybe longer. So they're still excited, right? They're new to Planet Beach, or they're new to our spa, but they're not as excited because they're not as committed to us, right? We did something wrong in the sales process to not convince them 100% to become a member with us. So that's going to be a second type of consumer. Our third is going to be our veteran member, right? This is our member that's been with us for years and years. These are the members that come and bring you birthday and Christmas gifts, and they come and bring you cookies just because, or they're coming in every day just to come and chat and hang out and end up not even doing their service. These are our members that have been with us, probably before you even worked in the spa, right? When you got hired at the spa, the member kind of just came with the spa. Or your veteran customer. These are probably going to be your most difficult because, again, we did something in the sales process that did not sell them completely on us, right? They didn't want to commit to that 24 months with us or longer. They probably have been with us for over 24 months, but instead of committing and putting a card on file and becoming an EFT member with us, they want to just come in and get a month here and there, 6 months at a time. They probably know about our MAP specials and try to hit us up whenever we are having buy one, get one, things like that. So they're not as committed to us, right? And for whatever reason. So it's important to kind of know each of these different categories because we're going to consult them in a very different way. And I'll probably talk about this for the rest of the webinar, but our approach to these members and our approach to retail sales or any sales, is going to be everything, right? So we don't want to just train like, okay, great, retail sales. Okay, that's fine. We know we need to sell retail, but how are we going to sell it, right? So, and like I just said, it's all about the approach, right? So how you approach the member, you want to make them feel comfortable. You don't want to come off too salesy or anything like that. So it's very important to know those different kind of consumer categories so that you can make sure that your approach is appropriate for that member. So you're not going to want to approach every single one of those the same way. And if you do, then guess what? You're probably not going to be as successful in your retail sales as you want to be. No one's going to be 100% successful, that would be great. It's a great goal to reach for, right? I want to be able to sell every single time and never want to hear no. But you're going to hear no every now and then, and that's okay. But this is definitely just going to increase your performance. What is your approach? Are you selling or are you informing? This is very, very important because we call ourselves consultants, right? We're spa consultants, and we're not salesmen. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not in the business of sales. I'm a consultant, and that's very important because you don't want your members to put up that wall, right? We don't want them to be scared because we're coming on too strong. We want to make sure that we are consulting them and we are helping them, not just, shoving things down their throat. More importantly, do they trust you? Do they like you? Because we've learned on past webinars, right? People want to buy from people that they like. They're 60% more likely to buy from you if they like you. So did we make them feel comfortable on their first tour, on their first visit? Did we get to know them on a personal level while we went over their personal spa profile with them? Do we really understand their goals? And that's gonna hold a very vital position in whether or not you're successful in your retail sales with these people. Because if you're just coming up and they're there for weight management and you're talking about red light therapy, they're probably going to be a little confused. Why is she talking to me about these facial products? I'm not doing a facial. I'm here for hot box. So it's important to know our members and know their goals, right? So I'm not going to trust you if you're coming up and approaching me about a product that does not relate to me whatsoever. I bet these look a little familiar to you guys. Car salesman, right? That's your salesperson right there. There's probably no better salesman than a car salesman, right? They'll tell you anything you want to hear. But they're not listening to you, right? I remember when I bought my first car, I told him I gave him, just a list of criteria that I wanted for my car, and then I wanted like this little bitty girly 2-door car, and he starts showing me Tahoes. Like, You did not hear a word I just said, you know? And that's why we're not salespeople, right? We're consultants, because we're asking questions, we're listening. We're not just showing people, you know, what we want them to buy. Fragrance counter girls, there's probably no one more aggressive than fragrance counter girls, or the mall stand hair people, right? You're walking by and they're like grabbing your hair. Let me curl your hair. Let me straighten your hair. I mean, you gotta like the audacity that they have, right? They're brave for sure. You know, they're not scared to approach anyone or talk to anyone, but they're not necessarily approaching you in the right way. Most of the time, I'm like, why is she trying to straighten my hair? Does my hair not look good? What's she trying to say? And telemarketers, I know, I'm sure, 100% positive, not one person on this webinar today is a fan of telemarketers. So what's our perception from these people, right? I mean, my perception obviously is very negative of these people. They deaf ear you, right? They're not listening to you. They're not asking questions. They're just showing you and shoving things down your throat and showing you what they want you to buy. They have no shame in chasing you down, literally, right? Walking by a girl pulling your hair. They make you feel very uncomfortable, right? They're lowering their voice. They sound a little shady. You know, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to do this. And it doesn't sound natural. You know, it's very uncomfortable. And what I want doesn't matter, right? I'm just a dollar sign to these people. They just want to sell me something so they can collect commission. And just like we talked about earlier, guys, yes, we are getting commission off of these retail sales, but I promise you, when we're selling retail and we're selling memberships, when we're selling anything in the spa, outside the spa, we need to always be looking for that next sale. Sure, you know, we might be super aggressive and approach someone in the wrong way and be successful one time selling them a product. I'm just going to buy this contour oil because she won't shut up about it. You know, if I just buy it, she'll leave me alone. But guess what? That person isn't going to feel comfortable coming to you the next time that they're looking for a product or anything like that. You know, we always want to make sure that we're making them feel comfortable, that we are recommending products that are going to help them. Because if we hook them up with one good product that they fall in love with and they, you know, are going to want to use for the rest of their lives, not only are they going to come back to you once they need a refill on that product, but the next time that they're, you know, not seeing results in a certain area, they're going to come to you and ask you for advice on what can help them. And that's what you want. You want to build that relationship to where you're no longer having to approach people. They're now coming to you, right? So what I was just kind of going over is kind of our consulting examples, right? So our department store makeup counters. I'm obsessed with makeup, not, you know, that's just me. But they're always so nice, they're always so sweet, and they actually take the time to look at your skin and recommend quality products that are actually going to help you. Fitness assessments. Fitness assessments are very important because not only are you going in there, you know, you're talking about your problem areas and things that you want to improve upon, but these personal trainers are not going to have the same fitness regime for every single person, right? If I'm looking, you know, to do some squats, I need to work out my bottom half, some other people might be working on their top half, they're not going to give us the same workout, right? And so that's kind of the same for our members. You know, we have such a wide variety of services and different things that we can help with, right? So we're not going to give everyone the same exact regime. Not everyone's going to be on the same schedule. Not everyone's going to use the same services, use the same products, and that's okay. And that's what we're here for, right? That's why we give the PSP. That's why we're giving them that personalized tour, and that's why we're asking these questions and getting to know our members, because we need to put them on the right path to see results. And who else is going to do that other than you? You're the professional. You know the ins and outs of everything in the spa. Some other examples: nutritionist, pharmacist. Nutritionist is a very good example as well. Not everyone's going to be on the same diet, right? You know, if you guys see me, I'm a small girl, you know. The nutritionist isn't going to put me on the same diet as she is someone that's looking to lose weight, right? Some people need to beef up their protein, and that's definitely me. And what are our perception from those people's actions, right? They answer our questions. You know, they're asking us questions and they answer them. we know that they're going to point us in the right direction of what we need, right? They're not necessarily just trying to sell us something. They're trying to help us, because they're going to get more money out of us by retaining us than just selling us that one time. They know our end goal, right? If it's a pharmacist, we're coming in because we're not feeling well. We're having certain symptoms, and they know if, certain medicines are going to help us feel better, right? So they want to provide us exactly what we need to help the symptoms that we're feeling. You know that their job is to assist you, right? And they're going to help you with what you are or not doing correctly. I love personal trainers for this reason. I've been doing squats for years, but I had this guy the other day come up to me and was like, you're doing really great and all, but I just want to let you know, if you hold your shoulders back a little more, you're going to feel it deeper. And I did it one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was sore for 3 days. And he had no way of he didn't gain anything from that. He was just helping me out. You're sold based on their confidence and knowledge of the product and service. This is especially an example for, like your hair salons, your makeup artists. You're not going to go to someone who is looking a hot mess. I'm not going to ask someone to do my makeup when I don't even like their makeup. So they obviously know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. And they're recommending products to me that are actually helping with, what I'm looking for. And that's so important. And we can't do those kinds of things if we're not building that relationship with our members, and we're not asking those tough questions to get to know what they're here for, what their end goal is. So we broke down our different consumer types. Let's talk about different ways that we can approach them, right? Because that's what we're all here for, right? We're here to learn how to sell some more retail. So our new member, we talked about them, kind of joking that they might be the easiest sale, right? So first things first, we want to make sure when we're giving them that PSP and we're taking them on the tour that we are talking about products along with the services, and how pairing their products with the services is going to enhance their results. So that's definitely the most important. If you're not doing that, then guess what? Whenever you're signing them on that membership and you start talking about products, they're going to put that guard up. They're going to be like, what are you talking about? Are you trying to sell me more stuff? You didn't say anything about these products before. So making sure that we're doing that. Showing them testimonial books. There is nothing better. There's no better way to sell someone on a product than showing them what it will do for them. So that's why it's so important to show them before and afters. And if you guys don't have a testimonials book, then you guys need to get one as soon as possible. So go ahead and look up those testimonials on Orion, print them out, put them on a book, keep them on your coffee table. That's such a great tool to use. Also, we have our skincare consultations. Our skincare consultations and our regime builders are probably our least used tools in the spa. And that's really sad, because that is your sales tool, right? If someone's coming in and they're having one of their concerns on their PSP was skincare, not only are we going to go ahead and get them started on our red light therapy services, probably our infrared heat saunas, but we also want to talk to them about at-home products that are going to pair perfectly with these services in the spa. And the perfect way to do that is a skincare consultation. Now, on a new member's first visit, we're already having them fill out this personal spa profile. They're having to fill out their release form. They're signing their membership agreement. We're giving them a tour around. We're talking to them about so much. It's information overload, right? So you don't want to do that on their first visit, but you do want to make sure that whenever you are scheduling out their next 2 appointments, that you're scheduling 10 to 15 minutes before that service for you guys to go over your skincare consultation, right? They should know that this is just procedure. We're not trying to sell them anything. This is just the way that we do it. It's easier for us to consult you if we know everything about you, right? So we've already done this personal spa profile and know what your end goals are. But now I need to know what kind of skin do you? You have dry skin, you have oily, you have combination skin, right? And how's your schedule, right? We want to go ahead and put you on a regime as well. So that's why these tools are so great. And if you guys haven't seen them, they're on Orion, and they're awesome. The skincare consultation, it's going to give you a schedule with a list of all of our products. So when you're asking them different questions about their skin, finding out if they have dry skin, oily skin, or what have you, maybe they're suffering from aging or acne. You know, that way we're obviously the professionals on our products, so we know what all of our products are. So asking them a couple different questions, we know what regime to put them on, what products to have them start with. So that's a great tool for that. It's not only going to allow you to check off all the different products that you recommend to them, but it's also going to allow you to put them on a little schedule that they can follow at home, they can take home with them. And that's why that's really great. And it's very similar to our products and services regime form builder. So what that's going to do is going to have a list of all of your services and all of your products. This one's editable because obviously we know that not everyone has exactly the same services or keep the same exact products in the spa. So you can definitely go in there and edit it to benefit your spa specifically. But that will allow you, now you've done the PSP, you've gotten to know your member, you can go ahead and check off all the different services that you want them to use and what products are going to pair with that perfectly. And then at the bottom is a nice little schedule for you to put a schedule together for them. So they can take this into the spa with them every day and they can look at it. Okay, today is Monday. They have me on the massage chair and the red light facial. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and do the aqua massage as well. So they have that. Today's Tuesday. Today I'm going to do my hydrodermafusion and my UV therapy. So they can take that with them to the spa every day. They don't have to ask you, but also you have those products on there every single day. So when they're looking at their schedule, if they haven't gotten that product yet, guess what? They see it on their schedule. It's there. They're looking at it every single day as a little reminder. You know, I'm not seeing the result I'm looking for. I need this product. It's because I haven't gotten this product. And you know it too, right? You've consulted with them. You've put that regime together for them. You know what products they got and what they haven't gotten. So if you haven't performed or done any of these tools, if you haven't done a regime builder before, if you haven't done a skincare consultation, that's okay. It just takes 10-15 minutes, honestly, to do that. To just schedule a couple extra minutes before their next appointment to go over that with them. And honestly, we use these tools as consulting tools, just like the PSP, right? Because your member is telling you what they're looking for. They're telling you the concerns that they're having and the goals that they are looking to achieve. So you're not necessarily selling anything to them. They're selling themselves. And that's why these are such great tools. If you guys need some help with any of these tools, please feel free, reach out to me, reach out to Danielle, Jessica, anyone, Spa Performance. We'll be happy to help you guys with these tools. Management training moment, guys. When you're in a situation where you're noticing that you're down in retail and your mem cash is, awesome, we need to catch our retail up to our mem cash, go ahead and pull a new member report in Spa Intel, and you can divide that amongst, all your different consultants and call and schedule them a skincare consultation, especially for you guys that have not been doing skincare consultations. This is a great way to get those last minute retail sales in. Go ahead and pull up the last 2-3 months of your new members. If you could do more if you get those first couple of months and you're looking to do some more, that's great. Pull the next couple of months. But go ahead and book some skin consultation appointments for them, right? I see you're coming in for hydration on Wednesday, Miss Mary. Would you be available maybe 10 minutes before that? We can, I'd love for us to go through the next step of our consulting. That's really, really great, right? And it's something personal. It's not you shoving products down their throat. It's you having a conversation with them, getting to know their skin type, getting to know any kind of skin conditions that they may be suffering through, and finding solutions for them, right? And honestly, our skincare products are probably some of the ones that, what am I trying to say? Like they're such great products, right? But not everyone knows about them. If it's our UV lotions, everyone knows our UV lotions are awesome, but sometimes our skincare products get overlooked. So skincare consultations are a great way to kind of bring that back up. Your next consumer is going to be that new customer, right? They just came in, they bought 6 months, they're excited, but they weren't that sold, right? We didn't sell them enough for them to be all in, get me on that membership, get me for 24 months. They're not that excited. They're still a little on the rocks about us, right? So using those testimonial books, right, that we talked about, if you don't have one, get one as soon as possible. Nothing's going to help you more than that. And then doing those kind of things that we talked about with our new members, right? That products and services regime builder. So just because someone's coming in just for 3 months rather than a year doesn't mean that their goals aren't important, right? They might just be a shorter term a shorter term goal. Maybe they're just getting ready for vacation or getting ready for a wedding, and that's why they're coming in. And that's okay, because guess what? We have 3 months to sell them. We didn't sell them on their first visit, so now we got 3 more months to sell them. So we're going to go ahead and put them on a regime because the best way to turn a customer into a member is for them to start seeing results. If you're going to the gym religiously for 3 weeks and you're starting to see results, you're not going to stop. It's when you're going to the gym religiously for 3 weeks seeing no results that you're going to stop going. So just because this person has an expiration date on them, they may only be coming in for 3 months, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't treat them like a member, because our end goal is to obviously turn them into a member, right? So if we treat them like a member now, we get them seeing results, they're not going to want to leave when their 3 months is up. If anything, they're going to be coming to us talking about how they can get 3 more months. And at that point, obviously, we're going to talk to them about our, becoming a member with us and the benefits of that. So, obviously, using that regime builder, right? Getting them on a schedule, using the services that we know are going to most benefit them the best, and pairing those products with those services that we know are going to maximize the results. And if we haven't done a PSP on them, if they just came in and said, I don't want any of this, I just want a month, just give me a month, don't look at me, don't talk to me, just give me a month, then now we want to sit them down and have that personal spa profile with them and give them a tour, because chances are they came in just for one service, whether it was tanning or a spray or something like that, and they didn't have the time, whatever it may be, for us to go over everything else with them. So now we need to slow them down and make sure that we are using all these tools and going over all these very important things with them. Just a little tip alert for you guys, especially if you are not using that regime builder. We can get in our habits, right? We're using our PSPs, we're doing that already, but we're not using the regime builder. So just to make sure that we don't forget, right, to keep us focused, go ahead and print out a bunch of those regime builder forms and staple them to the PSP. That way, whenever you're giving that initial tour, you're giving that initial personal spa profile, that's a reminder for you when you're going over the personal spa profile that you can go ahead then and get their regime started, right? Because we know what services they're looking for, we know what their end goals are, and hopefully we're talking to them about how many days they can commit to us and what days might be better, so we can go ahead and get that regime started for them right then and there. And you can put a little note on it, for consultant use only or whatever it may be. Like I said, those are editable, right? So we can kind of switch it up in any way that we want. That way we're not forgetting to use those. So our third type of consumer is going to be our veteran member. And this is my favorite, right, because they're so committed to us, and they're usually so loyal, and sometimes will honestly just buy anything just because they like you so much. Like, I love when your veteran members are like, well, do you get commission off of this? If you get commission, I'll just go ahead and buy it. But obviously not everyone's like that. And chances are, if you've had members that have been with you, for years and years, here in the NOLA market, we've been here since, 1990s, right? So we've had members who've been with us for 15, almost 20 years now. So chances are they've never had anyone do a personal spa profile on them. So now is not a bad time to go ahead and do that. Miss Mary, I know you've been coming in for years and years, and I know you already know what you want to do and that, but, some people's goals change. So I want to go ahead and do a personal spa profile on you just so I can better understand what your end goals are and what you're actually here to look for. That way, sometimes our members find they've been here for years and years and they just get so in their habit that they, that they forget about how other services can actually help them reach their goals faster. So make sure that you're doing that, right? That's a perfect way to get some retail sales in there, because we might be introducing them to other services that, sure, they knew it was there, they walk past the room every day, but no one's ever talked to them about it in a while, just because they know it's just Miss Mary. She's been here forever. She's never going to cancel. She loves us. She loves this. She loves whatever. But we need to make sure that we're ongoing our consulting with everyone, and not just getting our new members in on all these things, but taking care of our loyal members as well. Doing your product and service regime builders on those older members, right? Those veteran members, because just like your personal spa profile, they've been with you guys for so long. Chances are no one's ever taken the time to do that with them, and they're gonna appreciate that. They're gonna feel special. She didn't have to do that for me. I've been coming in for years and years. I know what I'm doing, but she took the time to do that. And then of course your skincare consultation, and that's this is gonna help as well, not only to introduce our older members to some of our new products, right? Because the last time that they got their tour, it might have been 10 years ago. We might have only had hydration and just UV, right? But now we have all these other services. We have all these great skincare products. We want to make sure that our veteran members are fully educated on these products as well. So your veteran members are going to come in two types, right? Your frequent, Miss Mary that I was just talking about, that brings me cookies for my birthday and wants to buy products from me just because I get commission off of it. And then also you're going to have your rogue members, right? Those ones that, have been paying for years and we never see them, but we're scared to call them because we don't want them to cancel on us, right? We don't want to call and they'll be like, oh, I forgot I even had that. Are y'all still charging me? I'm going to need to cancel that. And that's okay. Just because someone hasn't come in a couple months, we shouldn't be scared to reach out to them, right? Because we're consultants. We can overcome that objection. Okay, you want to go ahead and cancel? That's fine. I'll go ahead and put that request into my spa director. In the meantime, it is a 60-day notice, so you might as well come in and use the services for those 60 days, that you're going to be using our services that you're going to be paying for. So let's go ahead and schedule your next appointment. What time are you available for tomorrow? Great. You're available at 2:30? Awesome. How about I do this? Would it be okay if I went ahead and set your service for $250, and when you come in at 2:30, you and I can go over a personal spa profile and maybe put you on a short little schedule? That way you can get the best out of your next 60 days with us, right? So we want to get them using the correct services, using the right products, and starting to see some immediate results, right? That way we can save that member, because we don't want them to cancel. We want them to see the value in us again, right? And the only way they're going to see that is by seeing results. So don't be scared to reach out to those rogue veteran members, right? Because, be confident in yourself and be confident in your spa and the services and products that we have, that we can win that member back over, because they signed up with us for a reason. We won them over on that in that initial visit, right? So we can win them over again. Another management tip, guys, just go ahead and print up all of your active EFT members, and you can, divide it up between different spa consultants. If you are a spa that has a high staff retention rate, chances are your spa consultant that you have now probably signed those customers up in the first place. So make sure that you guys print up that EFT report and divide that amongst your consultants, and reach back out to those members to re-PSP them. That's a great place to start. And like I said, staple that regime builder onto that PSP. That way you don't forget to go ahead and get them on a regime as well. So go ahead and do that. That's a great idea and a great way for you guys to not only help with your membership retention, but also get some last minute retail sales in. Some little sales tips for you guys. Whenever we're trying to sell our retails, you don't want to ask any kind of yes or no questions, right? Do you want to get this today? Would you like this today? Because they're gonna say no, right? Or the famous one, right? Do you have your products today? Or are you okay on your tanning lotion? They're gonna say yes, right? Yeah, I'm good, I'm fine. Don't talk to me about anything else. We want to make sure that we are kind of assuming the sale. We don't want to ask for the sale. We want to assume it. So instead of, do you want to get this today? I'm super excited to get you set up with this today. Let's go ahead and get you started using this amazing product, because it's going to help maximize and accelerate your results. right? So I'm not asking, do you want it? I'm telling you you're getting it, and then I'm excited to get you started on it. So that's super, super important as well. So our last customer we want to go over is our veteran customer, and this is going to be arguably your most difficult, right? Because one, they're committed to us, right? They've been coming to us for a couple years, right? But they're not committed enough to get on an EFT with us, right? They're not committed to becoming a member. So we failed them. We did something wrong in the sales process that didn't make them feel comfortable becoming a member with us, right? We have our commitment phobes. They don't want to commit to an agreement, right? We have our burn victims. They've been burned before. The gym sends them to collections, or they don't want to put their account on anything. No reoccurring billing at all for them, or they're just not sure. They're uninformed because the first time that they came in, maybe they didn't have a very educated or well-trained spa consultant who never really talked about the different benefits of becoming a member versus just getting a short-term package with us, right? And so we're coming in and we're like, oh, you know what? Joe has only gotten 1 month every single time. He gets it every single month. He gets it 1 month. He's not getting anything else. Well, how do you know he's not getting anything else? Is he not getting anything else because we've talked to him about a membership? Or is he not getting anything else because that's all he knows about? That's what he came in and asked for on his very first visit. So that's what he got. And that's what he's been getting ever since, because no one's ever talked to him about anything else. So make sure that you guys are knowing the difference between these and overcoming those objections. If you're not having those conversations with them, then you're already going to fail, right? If you're not trying, then you're not going to see any success. So regardless of which category your customers fall into, the one thing remains the same. They all need some type of products, right? Whether they're just coming in for a day or coming in for a month or coming in all year, right? They're going to need their products. They're going to need their eyewear. They're going to need lotion, even if they're just tanners. We're not just going to get them eyewear and lotion. We're going to get them on a face lotion. We need to get them using our lip balm, right? We don't want their lips to get chapped in our UV services. And we want them to have an aftercare and at-home moisturizer, right? Because that's going to help their tan last longer, right? And it's going to help protect their skin as well. So make sure that we are talking to every single person that comes in here, whether they're a brand new member or a veteran customer, right? Our easiest or our hardest, because just because our veteran customer may be coming in and only coming for that 1 month every single time, guess what? He still needs all these products. And chances are we've never talked to them about these products before, so he never had his breakthrough moment, right? We never sold him anything that actually helped him see results. So that one time that he is going to see some great results, he's going to start believing us. So I want to show you guys just kind of an example of selling versus consulting, right? Because I cannot hone on this enough. We're consultants, right? We're not car salesmen. We are spa consultants. So Miss Mary, has everyone told you about our contour oil for hydration? It contains different oils like camellia, grapeseed, and lime oils, and it's applied before getting into our hydration station. Are you interested in this at all today, Miss Mary? First of all, that sounds rehearsed, probably because I just read it. But she's going to immediately throw up a guard, right? Because that's how someone's going to approach her for a sale. Has anyone ever told you about the hydration oil? Yeah, they have. That's probably going to be her answer. Yeah, they have told me about that. She isn't hearing any benefits, right? We're only telling her ingredients, right? What does she care about these ingredients, unless she has an allergy or unless she's already sold on the idea of what the product's going to do for her, then she's going to ask, oh, but what's in that? And we gave an open-ended question, right? We gave her a yes or no question. Are you interested in purchasing this at all today? Well, that didn't sound very appealing. Am I interested in purchasing it at all? No, I'm not. So we're going to make sure that we are consulting, right? We're telling her the benefits. What is this contour oil going to do to help her hydration treatment? What is it going to do versus what's in it? But more importantly, we need to make sure that we are consulting. I cannot hone in on that enough, right? We know what Miss Mary's coming in today for the hydration for, and we know that these products are going to help her see those results. So explaining to her what the benefits of this product is and how it's going to help her reach her goals is going to be the key here. Hey, Miss Mary, while you wait for us to prepare your Hydrodermafusion service, I wanted to ask you how you're doing with your results from using it. And then listen, right? Important, listen, let her answer. hopefully you're using that contour oil daily, and you know, not just when you're coming in for your services, but at home as well, right? Because that's going to be crucial, and you seeing those drastic changes quicker, and you know, compared to not using them at all. So it's also going to help assist breaking up those fatty acids and allow for it to expel from your pores because of those detoxing agents, right? So it's going to help aid in that enhance that you bought whenever you signed up. And then let her talk, right? Let her take in that information, because chances are she's going to be like, you know, no, I'm not using contour oil. I don't even know what that is. Well, goodness, it's our fault, right? I'm so sorry, Miss Mary. I can't believe that we didn't even talk to you about this. I'm going to fix this right now. Let's go ahead and get you started using that today. And I'll have your product regime builder form completed for you with your at-home instructions for this by the time you're finished hydrating, because we don't want this to happen again. We want to, you know, now that I know we did something wrong, I'm so sorry, and we're going to fix it. So what do? We just assume that sale, right? We ask how you're doing, right? So we're just trying to trying to get to know our members, trying to get to know how they're liking their results, because that's what they're here for, right? Is to see results. We slowed her down, right? We asked her to have a seat. We asked her to wait right here while we get her service ready, make sure her room's clean. And it might be clean, you know, she might be the first person to use hydration all day. But that's okay. We want to make sure that we're slowing her down, because that's going to give us that opportunity to talk to her about our different products. We provided information based on highlighting the benefits of the product, right? And we know Miss Mary's goals. So we're not talking about the ingredients again, right? We're talking about what it's going to do paired with that service and how it's going to help Miss Mary reach her results. And we made up for mistakes, right? We apologize, because it's our fault that Miss Mary doesn't have contour oil, right? It's our fault. We did something wrong, and we're so sorry. And then we assume that sale. A couple of things, I might have mentioned one of them earlier, but some approaches that you don't want to have, right? Some approaches that are absolutely you are going to fail with every single time, right? How are you looking on your products? Great, I look great. I don't need anything. Don't talk to me about anything. Are you okay on your lotion? You have your products today? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, right? Short, they're going to shut you down right there. And that's why we do not want to use those approaches. Those are big no-nos, and they are not going to be successful unless you've consulted them before, got them hooked on those products, talked to them about the benefits of it, and sold them on it, and now they just ran out, right? And now they already know, they already believe in the product, they know what it can do when paired with our services, and now they're just looking for a refill. The only way that's going to be successful, but you have to have that key consulting in there first, right, to be successful with those approaches. And I honestly just would not even use those at all. So just a couple of things that I'm running a little behind, so I'm going to try and hurry up and close this out. But just a few ideas to start implementing to help boost your sales, right? So in your weekly team huddles, if you're not having them, you need to start having them. It shouldn't be a big to-do. You don't need to have a big hour meeting about it, right? Just a quick 10, 15-minute huddle. If not everyone can be there, that's fine. Freeconferencecall.com. Have a conference call, have everyone call in. It's super, super easy. You know, we do it all the time, y'all, on our money motivation calls. Pick a product that you want the staff to focus on, right? Have your own little product of the week. In our newsletter, we highlight a product of the week that we suggest for you guys just based off of the time of the year and sales that we have going on here at corporate. But if you have a certain product that you have like 8, 10 of that just are not moving and we need to sell them before they expire, then, you know, pinpoint that product. But that's a management skill, right, is knowing what product we need to get moving. So, and put a SMART goal in place, right? Not just this is the product we need to highlight, this is what we need to do, but how many does each consultant need to sell, right? We need a SMART goal. We need a number and time-based. You need to sell 5 of these in 1 week, right? This week you need to sell 5. And talk to them about what that looks like as far as commission for them, right? What's in it for them. When you're coming in for your shift, get some paper, get a pen, go through your appointment book and check on those members on the appointment book. Check their retail purchase history. You know, or pull up their PSP, pull up their files, see what their goals were, right? Their initial goals coming in were, what products they have, what services they're using, and what we can recommend to them to enhance their experience, right? If they're tanners, they're coming in to tan, well, guess what? We need to get them in hydration. We need to get them on some other products to enhance their tan. Pull your active EFT members by type report. In Spy Intel, hopefully you guys know how to pull reports. If not, call me, email, I'll help you guys. It's so easy to find all these different reports. And evenly designate each staff member to reach out to certain people, right? So that we can get an updated PSP on them. We can perform our skin consultations and get those last minute retail sales in. So don't forget, staple those regime builders onto that PSP. So when we're doing that PSP, we can go ahead and put them on a schedule if they're not on a schedule already. Sorry guys, I know I rushed through that, but Danielle has a webinar at 10:30, so I don't want to rush over into her time. But if y'all have any questions regarding this, or you guys need some further training on that regime builder or on the skin consultations, please feel free to reach out to me. You should have my number. This is my email address. Do not be shy. Go ahead and go on Orion and look through those folders for the regime builder and the skin consultation, and get with me on some training on it. That way we can go ahead and get you guys started using those in the spa, so that y'all can reach out to those old members who've never done those before, get them done, and implement this from now on for all of your new members. That way we can get some more retail sales going. Alright guys, well, that's all I have for you guys today. I want to welcome you guys to give me some more suggestions on these webinars. So go ahead and put those in our Facebook group or email me or anything like that, so that I know what you guys are looking for in the future. Alright guys, I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. Y'all have a great day.